be a new member. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Okay, now we have Jill.
Why is everyone laughing? I'm really thankful to be here. And right before I gave my life to Christ, my parents were having kind of a revival of their spiritual life. They had grown up in Christian churches, but I think my mom had never really had a personal relationship with Christ, and my dad had walked away. And I was the youngest of 3 kids, and they had been going through some trials. My dad, some severe depression, moved across the country. We lived in Oregon at the time, and I was pretty small, so I didn't know a lot of this was happening, but my parents just really started. They both committed their lives to Christ when I was about 4, and so our house completely changed. It was just a lot more peaceful. We went to church all the time, different church Sundays and Wednesdays and Bible studies in our home. So just kind of God's presence really started to fill our home. And so I gave my life to Christ quite young. I was 5 years old, but I was, it wasn't, my parents didn't push it on me or anything, but I was at a kind of a Christian release thing at church, at school. I don't think they do this anymore, but even at school, during lunchtime, you could, if you were a Christian, you could all go to this room and they would tell you about Christ and learn about the Bible. And at that time, one of the ladies told us as kindergartners how to invite Jesus into our heart. And I remember praying that and being very sincere about that and very serious about my faith. And I've told some of this before, but you know, as a kindergartner, first grader, I was always telling everyone about Jesus and bringing pencils to church that had Bible, or to school that had Bible verses on it, kind of this little missionary in my school. So I was always very passionate about Christ. And so, yeah, that kind of leads to me to where we are here. But I was realizing, after that, I've been in church and my whole life and done mission trips and really dedicated my life to Christ, married a pastor, which I never thought I would want to do, but that's where God has had me. But I was realizing as we talked about me becoming a member of this church, that I haven't been a member of church since I was 18. So in the church that I grew up in, I was a member, but since then just sort of floated around to different churches, and it was hard for me to commit to a church. I think I'd been churched my whole life that I was kind of didn't want to really commit to something and put roots down. So this is kind of a big deal for me to say, hey, I'm at this church and I'm committed to this church. And so I really appreciate all of you, and thank you for welcoming us today as new members.